What's going on, everyone? It's Victorious EO3 or Cody Wilson, and today we have the Elite Series 30 of the WWE Legends Target exclusive action figures. And with us today we have Mr. Fuji, Michelle McCool, Stone Cold Steve Austin, and of course Jesse the Body Ventura. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get straight into the review. Now up first we have the legendary manager himself, Mr. Fuji. Mr. Fuji, along with Jimmy Hart and Bobby the Brain Heenan, ruled managers back in the 80s and 90s, and somewhat 2000s, but not really 2000s, mainly 90s and 80s. But I remember watching them as a kid and just thinking, how cool is it to manage, Demolition or the Road Warriors or Brutus Beefcake and at the time Greg the Hammer Valentine? How cool would that be to be a manager in the 80s or 90s? Mr. Fuji was one of my favorite managers growing up. He was really funny. I didn't like how he did betray, Demolition at WrestleMania 5, I believe. I can't remember. I'll fact check that. But I do remember him turning on Demolition and being like, "No, I'm sorry. It was Survivor Series 1989, I believe, is when he betrayed the Demolition." And I think he took on the Road Warriors instead, because it was like the tag match or it was the Survivor Series match. And he betrayed them. But a little bit about Mr. Fuji is he was a World Tag Team Champion, which actually I did not know about that. I had no idea he was a World Tag Team Champion, but hey, you learn something new every day. Along with that, there is no manager more devious in WWE history than Mr. Fuji. A former Tag Team Champion himself, Mr. Fuji led Demolition to a record-setting World Tag Team Championship reign, and he had no problem interjecting himself in matches to assure their success. He showed his true colors, however, when Fuji the Stooge turned his back on Axe Smash and aligned with the Powers of Pain. So I was wrong. It wasn't the Road Warriors, it was the Powers of Pain. But yeah, I think, this is a pretty cool action figure looking at inside the box. You can look at the back right there. There's a photo of Mr. Fuji, the information, and then his little record right there. And then we do have a Build-A-Figure right here, which is Bob Backlund. We'll get back to that later. But without further ado, I think we should unbox this and review it. So looking at this Mr. Fuji, I can already tell it's going to be one of my favorites for the action figure for Mr. Fuji. Just his iconic outfit himself, and the fact that it does come with his Demolition look. If it'll focus a little bit. Yeah, he has the two red, I actually don't know what that is, but it's on his eyes. It's the two red iconic for Demolition, the tag team. But overall, he has the classic cane where he did hit Axe and Smash with the cane. And then he would also just hit lots of people like Jimmy Hart. He'd hit with a bunch of people with those canes. So I'm really happy they did include the cane because it does kind of like show off who Mr. Fuji is, and it's just a part of him. But overall, it's a simple figure too. They really got the capture of the whole Mr. Fuji look. So I'd say I'd probably give this a 8.5 or 9 out of 10. It's a really good Mr. Fuji in my opinion. So if you're a collector or someone who just wants or likes Mr. Fuji, I would highly recommend to get this action figure. Next up, we have Michelle McCool. Now, I'm not really familiar with Michelle McCool, other than she was the WWE Divas Champion at some point. Other than that, I have no idea who Michelle McCool is. But looking at the action figure in the box, I can already tell. I like her gear style. I like how, she has the Broken Women's Championship. That's a really classic championship. It reminds me way back from like 1988, which I would see that at WrestleMania 1 be defended by... I know Cyndi Lauper was like involved. I forget who the two were in 1989 who battled for that title. But on the back of the box here, you can see Michelle McCool and then her little information, and it says, "From Diva Search to the WWE Hall of Fame, there are women in WWE history who had more impact on their era than Michelle McCool. Working from the ground up, McCool made history as the first ever Divas Champion in 2008, and uniting the title with the Women's Championship in 2009. Making multiple returns and recent Royal Rumble matches, Michelle McCool proves time and time out she still got it." So, I don't really know much about Michelle McCool other than, she was a WWE Divas Champion and she's the Undertaker's wife. But without further ado, let's get straight into the unboxing. So looking at this figure, I can already tell, it's a pretty basic figure in my opinion. You got the classic gear from Michelle McCool, not really many designs or many like details that show out to me or pop out to me. But you got her little cross right there. The camera will zoom in right there. And then the nice fake texture. She's holding up her championship, which is right here. And this was probably my favorite thing that came in the box itself, was the classic Women's Championship. And, if you want You can break it in half and like have a little fight with them. But overall, you know, I'm not a really big fan of Michelle McCool, but I do know she kind of helped. She was someone who did help lead the way for the women's division. So I'll probably have to give her a 7.5, 8 out of 10. Not really my favorite, but you know, it's still a pretty cool figure. So if you're looking to pick something up like this, I'd highly recommend it. Next on the list, we have none other than the legendary Stone Cold Steve Austin. Now, I remember watching him back in, you know, the 2000s, 1995, around that area, where he was just dominating. Him and The Rock were just dominating WWF or WWE at the time. So, another thing about Stone Cold is, you know, he has that classic, I'm just looking at it, the classic Winged Eagle Blue Championship in that box. So I cannot wait to unbox this and just look at the figure, because I can already tell it's going to be another one of my favorites. But on the back, you can see right here, Stone Cold Steve Austin, and on the back it says he won the WWE Champion, the Intercontinental Championship, and the World Tag Team Championship. Nobody was shattering the glass ceiling on Raw in summer 1998, more than Stone Cold Steve Austin. The Texas Rattlesnake stood out on top of the mountain as WWE Champion, and he was always ready to open up a can of whoop, you know what, on anyone trying to take it away from him, and that's the bottom line, because Stone Cold said so. Can I get a hell yeah? Like I said in the beginning, I can already tell I'm going to love this Stone Cold, especially the fact that he has that blue Winged Eagle Championship from the 1985, or 2000 era. Or, sorry, not 1985, 1995. What am I thinking? 1995 to 2000 era. But, overall, you know, again, I just like the outfit itself, you know. Very unique outfit for him. Very unique belt. I don't even want to touch this. That's how much I like it, because I kind of wish I didn't take it out of the box, but that kind of defeats the whole purpose. But it's such a good Stone Cold in my opinion. So I guess I am going to touch it. And just look at that belt itself right there. That pristine championship belt right there. And then you got the little Stone Cold 316 and then the Austin 316, the 316 man himself. Super, super cool. And then you have his little chain right there. I don't know if you can see it. But I think I'm going to have to give it a 10. I really am, because I just love this Stone Cold so much. It's such a good style. It's such a good, like, for what it's worth, I think the money is like $24. It's so worth it, especially getting that championship itself. That's probably one of like the nicest championships in history. So yeah, overall, I'll probably give it a 10 out of 10. Really good. I'd highly recommend getting it if you haven't already. Next on the list, we have the Navy SEAL himself, Jesse the Body Ventura. Now, Jesse is another one I didn't really get into that much as a kid growing up watching the, 95 to 2000s era. It just wasn't my cup of tea, really. He was cool, but it's just, he wasn't really, someone I liked or I looked up to that much. But looking inside the box himself, he has the vintage red, I think that's silk. I'm not sure. Then he has the classic bandana with the sunglasses, the mustache. It's just... Again, I didn't really get into Jesse Ventura much. I know he did like a bunch of commentary, but that's about it. Besides, I didn't really watch all of his wrestling matches before he actually came into the WWE. But looking at the back, you can see another photo of him, and then it says on the back he was the AWA World Tag Team Champion, and as controversial as he was colorful, Jesse the Body Ventura never held back on telling the television audience what it was on his mind, especially when it came to Hulk Hogan, which we all know he did hate Hulk Hogan. But whether he commented alongside his broadcast partners like Gorilla Monsoon, rest in peace, or cultural icons like Elvira at WrestleMania 2, I do not know who that is, nobody did it better than the Body. I can agree with that though. No one did it better than Jesse the Body Ventura. So without further ado, let's get straight into the unboxing. So looking at this figure, I can already tell it's giving me classic 89 through 95 Jesse the Body Ventura. We have the silk red fluffy flannel right here. We have the silk little, I think that's a little vest or a little cloak if I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. And then I do not know what, I think it's a hat right here. And then we have the classic sunglasses, and he has his little pose, and then the phenomenal zebra pants to go with it. Such a classic outfit for the Body Ventura. And then along with it comes with a little microphone, which it's just the W sign. It's not the WWF sign, unfortunately, because if they did do that, it would have the whole... They just can't do it anymore, unfortunately. But overall, I'd probably give this, because it is so relatable to Jesse the Body Ventura, I'd probably give it an 8.5 or 9 out of 10. Because it's just it's very, very detailed. It's very, very correct to what he used to dress like and be like doing commentary. So, without further ado, I think that is an 8.5 or 9 out of 10. And last but not least, we have the Build-A-Figure that comes with it, which is none other than Bob Backlund, who, if you didn't know, is the second longest reigning WWE champion of all time, having the record at 1,500 and something days, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong again. I could be off by a lot, but I know he is the second behind Bruno Sammartino with 4,040 days as WWE Championship, which, if you think about it, that was 8 years, and that's probably never going to be beaten. I promise you that's never going to be beaten. But look at this figure. It's a classic Bob Backlund outfit. He has the classic iconic face, the serious face, the classic suspenders, the white and then the blue, and then it also came with this little poster. It says, Mr. Backlund for President, which, if you didn't know, at the time it was around 2000, 2005. I think he was somewhat mixed. I forget what, but he was like involved in with like the government, or he was running for something. I think I can't remember what it was exactly, but I do remember they were doing it like they were making it a big deal when he came back into the WWF or WWE. I can't remember when he did, but overall, I'd say again, cool action figure. Not really my personal favorite, but overall, I'd probably give it a 7.5, 8 out of 10. It's not the best, but it's still like, it's not like level 5 bad. It's just Bob Backlund. Like, everyone probably knows him. So without further ado, that's the last of our action figure. And with that concludes our today's review. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Today we reviewed Mr. Fuji, Michelle McCool, Stone Cold Steve Austin, Jesse the Body Ventura, and the Build-A-Figure Bob Backlund. I would highly recommend getting these set if you haven't already, or just looking for it, because I really do think it's a really good set for the Series 30, and I cannot wait for the Series 31 of the WWE Legends Elite Collection. So without further ado, guys, I'll see you guys next time.